What is the best piece of advice that you've received? Submitted by Rain_XD. Your success in life is largely dependent on how many uncomfortable conversations you're willing to have. My former boss told me this when I was denied re-enrollment to my university to finish my degree. He encouraged me to take a day off from work, drive down to the university, and negotiate with them in person about the ordeal. Being a very non-confrontational person, I would never have done this on my own. Sure enough, I spoke to the offices about it and I was able to enroll. He later used this line again when he had to lay me off because of financial constraints. But thanks to the same advice, I was planning on leaving work anyways to attend school full-time. Unless you're a rock star in your field, your connections at work are most likely going to present the best opportunities for you down the line. Networking matters. If you wouldn't let the people you despise living in your house, why let them live in your head? No one who is great at something was always great at it. Comparison is the thief of happiness. Marriage advice. Pick your battles. Seriously. This helped me so much over the years as I've come to understand that most things just aren't important enough to argue over and that you don't lose anything by letting things go. Control the controllable, let the rest go. Be decisive. Right or wrong, make a decision. The road of life is paved with flat squirrels that couldn't make a decision. Nothing is awkward until you convince yourself that it is. Live in reality as it is, not as you wish it was. This little snippet really changed how I approach life in my early 20s. Once you learn something, no one can take it away from you. It really resonated with me, since I grew up with instability and uncertainty. If you lend someone your pen for a minute, don't give them the lid. You'll always get your pen back. Take the time and make the effort to figure out your boundaries. I wish so many people did this. Marriage isn't 50-50. It's 100-100ths. You don't split duties and responsibilities. You both give your all. Regardless of how much your spouse is giving, there will be times when they won't give as much, out of sickness or sadness or whatever reason. Instead of feeling like they should do more, just pick up the slack. There will be times when you can't do your share either. Dishes need doing. Do theme this year. Instead of asking whether they're doing enough, ask if you can do more. Serve theme this year, give them yourself. If both people do this, it will be a happy marriage. Someone once showed me a table that if you start investing $100 per month from age 18 to 30, by age 65, you'll have way more money than if you invest $100 per month from age 30 to 65. Start working on that compound interest while you're young. Close your mouth and open your ears. Nobody hears if everyone is talking. You'll be amazed at what you learn. Love, trust and respect is what you need in a quality long-term relationship. All have to be present and they have to be mutual. My mom. Someone told me to ask myself, what is the best use of my time right now? Don't recall where I heard this, but if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Since you're still young, always remember this, as the people who you surround yourself with, especially in your young adult life, will have a profound impact on the rest of your adulthood. Surrounding yourself with driven and intelligent people will influence you positively. Don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't also take advice from as your. I got one that's less deep than the others here. $1 saved today is worth more than $1 saved 10 years later. Never open a can of soup over an open drawer. Measure twice, cut once. I actually sometimes recall the moment my uncle told me that in a conversation when I was maybe 13 or 14. I think we were talking about it literally. 'Cause I did have a woodworking class in school at the time. It has helped me be more cautious when doing certain things though. Like when doing a task where I can't redo it if I fuck up. I'll be super careful at each stage to be very aware of what's going on. If you want to be successful at any job, you need 2 out of these 3 things. Show up on time, be nice to people at your work, and be good at your job. If you define your life by the things you own, then the things you own you. If you're going to do it wrong, you might as well do it right. You don't have to show up to every argument you're invited to. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. Master Ogwe. Act like a doormat. Don't be surprised that you get stepped on all the time. Don't shit at your date's house. You wouldn't care what people think of you if you knew how seldom they do. When being attacked by clowns, go for the jugular. Walk with purpose. Don't be an idiot. Before I'm about to do something I think, would an idiot do that? And if they would, I do not do that thing. If you think you can or you can't, you're right. When I was a kid, my dad told me 4 important words. Know when to quit. Never write a letter and send when you are angry. In fact, don't write anything down that likely will come back and bite you on the ass. Be circumspect when faced with rage, and for fuck's sake say please and thank you. My mom is here. An old guy once told me, once you reach 60, never waste a boner or trust a fart. Honest work is better pay. Parents taught me this, and I always applied it when doing indoor painting and repair work. Sometimes, my customers would figure out little things that I did later on, like taking doorknobs off before painting just in case they wanted to change out knobs. Word of mouth travels fast when the person they're paying good money to doesn't screw them and pays attention to detail. Getting old beats the alternative. It's either that or die you. Stop forcing shit, just let it happen. Talk less, listen more. Always underpromise and overdeliver. I challenge you to better it. Treat things as an opportunity, not an expectation. If you're expecting a certain outcome, then you'll generally be disappointed, but if you are looking at it as an opportunity for things to go one way or another, you'll usually be happier with the outcome and not stress over it if it's negative. It's a lot easier to see silver linings or benefits in things when you're not expecting the outcome to be a certainty, and you'll be a lot more appreciative of said outcomes when you're not already starting at a benchmark. Riding motorcycles. There's a graveyard full of dead riders who had the right of way. I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are. Mewtwo. It wasn't advice per se, but whenever I was going through a tough situation, my parents would always say, it's temporary. Whatever hardship I'm going through is temporary. It has helped me so much to put things in perspective. I'm trying to help my boyfriend right now by telling him that his job is abnormally hard right now, but that it's temporary and in a couple of weeks it'll be back to normal. Get it in writing. Be kind to yourself. Always keep the utilities, lease, and vehicle in your name, and have a bank account in your name only. That way, no matter what goes sideways in your relationship, or how badly, nobody can put you and your kids out, turn off the heat or water, etc. Practice what you preach. Common, but it works. Nobody else's opinion truly matters because they are not the one living in your body. Remember, when you are fighting with your partner, it is not you versus the monsieur, it's you both versus the problem. Monsieur, doesn't matter if one of you is right. Fix the problem, monsieur. Alternatively, I was told once, after considering myself a fairly honorable man, when I did something wrong, A friend told me, being a good man isn't a thing. It's a journey. Buy a plunger before you need a plunger. 1. Hold your own standards high and the standards of the people you surround yourself with higher. That way you avoid wasting time on people who wouldn't treat as great as you treat them as your. 2. Always surround yourself with people who are better than yourself, more intellectual, more athletic, quicker, etc. That way your peers challenge you to improve yourself rather than you begin to believe you are the best you can be. Everything in life is negotiable. Wear a condom. You shouldn't live to work. You should work so you can live. The best place to find a helping hand is at the end of your arm. Start there. Sucking is the first step to being okay at something. If it sounds too good to be true, it most likely is. Never give out money you expect a return. Be the person you needed growing up. You can either be right or be happy. Perseverance builds character. Stay with your wife. At my graduation party, we had those little advice cards that people write on and then put in a box for the graduate to read. Later on, my grandmother's was the simplest, but it's also the only one I kept and still turn to frequently. Do what makes you happy. Always know there will be a second kid on a bike coming around a curve after the first on a road while you are driving. It will still be here tomorrow. Wisdom from my boss on having a huge to-do list at work and not stressing over it. Get done what you can today. What you don't finish will be there to work on tomorrow, and you don't need to take the mental baggage of having a big to-do list home with you. Compete against yourself, not against others. Stop trying to compare yourself to other people because you will always find someone who is better at something that you do or who is more successful at whatever career you've chosen. Instead, compare yourself to the person you were yesterday, last week, a year ago. Look at that person and ask yourself, am I a better, more skilled, more complete person than I was back then? Quote. Don't start no shit. There won't be no shit. You're going to work very hard and fail. You're going to work very poorly and fail. Everybody fails. Get used to it. Success starts with how you pull yourself up from failures and try again. If you master that, then failing isn't failure. It's just the first step on your next attempt to succeed. Keep trying. No other country on earth lets you fail and fail and fail and keep trying until you succeed. Like this country. Get a job and keep it until you can find a better job. Repeat. When you look in the mirror, do you see a man or a mouse? Act like it. That will guide you on what you should do even when you don't want to. 3 pieces of advice, and whatever the 4th one is. Money is hard to earn, and there will always be people that want some of yours. Work hard in your 20s, and the rest of your life will be easy. Never touch a girl, woman, without an invitation. While this one might have cost me a few dalliances, it's kept me out of trouble. Any sufficiently advanced response to consistently shitty behavior from any one particular group of people is indistinguishable from systemic bigotry, racism and oppression. Arthur C. Clarke. A wise old owl lived in an oak. The more he saw, the less he spoke. The less he spoke, the more he heard. Why can't we all be like that wise old bird? Some of the best advice I've heard was dialogue from The Big Lebowski. That's just, like, your opinion. Man, fuck it dude. Let's go bowling. Some burgers and beers, and our troubles are over. There's a lot of other good ones, but it's mostly about avoiding getting too attached to unmet expectations. Don't sweat the small stuff. What's bothering you today is most likely going to be insignificant in a month. If it's something that will be insignificant, don't let it consume your today. Be self-sufficient.